Unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard about Graham Barton by now. And why would the Packers be interested in a 6'5", 313-pound tackle that projects as a guard? Well, this RAS score 9.99, literally the top tier of athlete, and that is at the guard position because that's where he projects to play, especially based off that arm length. In 2023, he had 496 snaps where he put up a 75.9 run block grade and an 82.3 pass block grade, allowing just 11 pressures and 2 sacks during that time. One of his biggest strengths is his positional versatility. He started off at Duke as a center in 2020, but has played left tackle since. And tying right into that is his football IQ. He understands leverage and positioning, which really helps him excel at any position on the line. And with that, he sustains leverage and control throughout his blocks. His shorter arms do put him at a little bit of a disadvantage, especially against lengthier edge rushers who can prevent him from making good contact early in the rep. He also finds himself on the ground a fair amount, and that can be balance related, but also leaves him open to injuries. And on this play you see here, not only is he going to the ground, but he's also holding Jared Verse as he goes down, which kind of shows off his grip strength, but also is just an indication that he needs to learn when to let go to avoid these kind of calls. And I wanted to focus on this Florida State game a bit because he went up and held his own really well against Jared Verse, one of the premier edge rushers in this class. He also had a few reps against that guy, number 55, Braden Fiske, who is one of the top defensive tackles in this class as well. And throughout this game, he just gave up one pressure and had that one penalty right here, that holding against Jared Verse, which we talked about earlier. And I specifically loved this rep because it pit two of the most athletic big men in this draft in Fiske and Barton against each other, and Barton came out on top. Barton had some great run block reps like this one where he completely took Verse out of the play, literally drove Verse 4 yards downfield. And then he showed off his strength on this down block where he cleared a country mile for the running back to get in for a touchdown on this play. I mean, it's easy to see why the Packers would have interest in a guy like Graham Barton. That kind of versatility, the profile that he has physically, it really does project well on the interior of the offensive line. And that's why I think the value is potentially there at pick 25 later in the first round, but an interior offensive lineman isn't necessarily the place that the Packers like to spend that kind of premium draft capital, which begs the question, do they think that he could legitimately be a tackle? Their thresholds for tackle typically, revolve around, certain agility scores in the shuttles, and then also arm length. And the arm length that they typically go for is 34 inches or higher. And at interior offensive line, it's 32 or higher. And he's just sub 33, so he's in the middle between those two, but his athletic profile is just through the roof on everything else, that he checks all the blocks except that one. Now, is that enough for the Packers to spend pick 25 on him? I personally don't know. I think he would be a great addition to the interior of this offensive line. He could probably come in and supplant Josh Myers right away, but is that what they think they need at this pick at 25? So, I don't know. You tell me. If you're the GM, what are you doing with pick 25 here? Is Graham Barton a legitimate target there? Or is this a whole lot of smoke being blown about how Green Bay loves their versatile offensive linemen that have that, diverse skill set and background to be able to play multiple positions? Or is this just going to be too rich a spot for a guy that's primarily going to be an interior offensive lineman? I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments below, and make sure to check out the playlist up here because we'll be bringing more player profiles as we get closer to the NFL draft.